Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it so very much. Today is kind of a video that's taken me quite a while to prepare for, and it's something I've been wanting to do for quite a long time actually. This is all of the Huda large palettes. So I do own every single one that she has done, all 6 of them, and I'm going to tell you about them, each one, my experiences with them. I'm going to rank them at the end. And I'm just going to, I've worn these all for 4 days each. So it's kind of a 4 for 4, but it's more of a 6 for 4 because, or 4 by 6, I don't know. Anyway, I decided to do all of them in one fell swoop so that you could really get an idea of how they compare to each other. So welcome, my name is Aiden. I am so happy that you are here. If you are interested in reviews, I do have reviews like this every other week, give or take, and then I always have samples and empties, and I do a lot of perfume content too. The palettes that I have, in case you are not as familiar with them, I'm going to go from newest to oldest, is the Naughty Nude. Then there is the Mercury Retrograde. Then the New Nude. Then we have the Rose Gold Remastered. Then we have the Desert Dusk palette. And then finally the original Rose Gold palette. So this one we're going to kind of start with. This one does have a slip-off cover. All of them have covers, but I just kept this one because the palette itself just has that plastic over it. So for each of these, I am going to swatch all of them. I will show you them all on my arms. I will tell you my experiences with them, the shadows that I feel like are not as good, the ones that are better. And I might not have gotten to every single shade in all of these palettes because that's a lot, but I do have a really good idea of what all of the shadows are like. So I lied just a second ago. I said I was going to start with the Rose Gold, the original one, which is the first palette she came out with. But I'm actually going to mention New Nude first because I've already done a full review of this in another 4 for 4. And it didn't rank the highest in that one, but we'll see where it ranks in this one. So I do want to link that up above so that you can go and see that. I am going to swatch them, but I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time explaining them. I'm just going to do a quick swatch of all of them because I don't know how to download it from YouTube and edit it in and all of that goodies. So I'm going to do swatches and then we'll move on to the next palette. All right, so this palette does have 21 shades in it. And I just noticed that her newer ones only have 18. So this does have 3 more shades than some of the other palettes. So you do have some shimmer shades, some of these marbled shimmer shades. She has 2 pressed glitters in there. And then there is the cream base as well. And I haven't really used that on my eyes. That's the one that I haven't. I'm trying to work through an open eyeshadow primer, and then I'm going to start working on that one because I don't really like having creams mixed in with other things in my palettes, but that's just me. So here are what they all look like. I'm not the best at trying to get my arm swatches in, but as you can see, you go from very, very light all the way to some very rich, deeper shades. So you do have a really good variety in here. And then the 2 glitters, I find that they stick better to my fingers than they do when I'm trying to put them on. So I'm not really sure. I'm not a glitter person. I don't use loose glitters like that or chunky glitters at all. So those are things that I do definitely avoid using on my eyes, but that's what they all look like. And like I said, if you want to know my entire review, it's up above. All right, next we're going to talk about the Desert Dusk palette. Now I didn't realize, I just looked at all of them and the rest of them are all 18. So that is the largest of all the palettes with 21 eyeshadows in it, which I guess you could count if you don't want the base and the 2 pressed glitters, you could count those out of it and have 18 shadows in there still. So the Desert Dusk is the second palette that she put out. It was the first one with this type of packaging with her face on it. I do think the packaging on these are gorgeous. It is magnetic. So this is what it looks like. You do have a very good mix of shimmers and mattes in here. You do have 1 pressed glitter in here. Again, I have not used that pressed glitter on my eye. I avoid pressed glitters just because I heard horror stories. My grandpa was a doctor and people who lost eyesight because of things like that. And he always really impressed not to put glitter on your eyes or around your eyes. And I have definitely taken that to heart because I do not want to lose my vision. So this is what the shades look like. I will swatch them all and then tell you my thoughts on this. All right, so that is what they all look like. I did not get the best job of swatching on this arm. I kind of started funky. The glitter, as you can see, I had the same issue with this one, even a little bit more than I did with the new nude palette. But they're all beautiful. I really love the shimmers in this palette, especially like the light shimmers. I think they perform so well. This Angelic is one of my favorite shades of all time. It's just this beautiful pink shade. I have used this one quite a bit. I do really like this because there are a lot of neutrals in here, so you can do like a very light everyday kind of look, but you can also like deepen it up and have some deeper shades. I don't use a lot of the darker shimmers in this. There was a couple of them that it looked like I hadn't ever swatched them even, which was really surprising because there's like significant dents in some of these, especially Angelic and Desert Sand, very significant dents in those. So I do really like this. I feel like mine might be getting a little old though, because some of my shadows, this purple and these two, were feeling a lot rougher than I remember, but that could just be I haven't reached for it for a while because I've been doing other things. So I'm not really sure what's going on. You can see my makeup wipe in that mirror. So I do really like it. I think the shimmers are still performing really pretty, and the mattes that I use the most are still working really well. Where will it end up in the lineup? Who knows, but that is the Desert Dusk palette. Let's look at the Mercury Retrograde palette next. This did come out, she comes out with these large palettes about once a year. So I think this one came out in 2019, if I remember right. And this is probably the most colorful of all of the palettes that she's done. It's also the first one that she did in a plastic instead of in the cardboard packaging. So you do get a large mirror once again with this, like the first two that I showed you. And there's a really big range of colors in here. There are a couple shades that are a little different. Like this one is kind of not quite a pressed glitter, but it's not really a shimmer either. It's a very unusual type of color. So let me swatch these all for you so you can see them. So that is what they all look like. As you can see, there is a really big range of shades within this palette, and there are some absolutely beautiful shades in here. I really enjoy the mattes in here. I feel like this is such a different quality of mattes than her earlier palettes. And I'll kind of talk about that when I'm going into the ranking. But a lot of these shimmers I feel like are more like toppers than actual shimmers. They don't have a lot of opacity to them, so you really have to build them up, and they swatch much better than even like trying to put them on your eyes. I feel like I was struggling to get enough color in a lot of instances, which was kind of a bummer, but the mattes went on just beautifully. They're really soft. They blend out really nicely. I really do enjoy the mattes in this, and I got some compliments when I wore this out. The barista at Starbucks was like, "Your eyes are beautiful. It looks like a unicorn cotton candy kind of look." And I was wearing like the blues in this, the blues and greens. So I thought that was a cool compliment. I don't get a lot of those type of compliments. So I do really like this palette. I think takes a little bit more to work with than some of the others just because of the shimmers in here, but I do think it is a good one. All right, the next one that I want to talk about is the newest in the line, and this is the Naughty Nude palette. And this one has gotten a lot of weird feedback, not weird feedback, but mixed feedback because of the shades that are in here. Yes, it does have a mirror once again, but this shadow here has been cause for a lot of concern. As you can see, I have put my fingers in it, so it does not look nearly, I think, as triggering as some other ones might have looked, but this is really a neutral palette. It has a lot of deeper, richer colors in it as well. I feel like this one is more akin to the dark Nude Obsessions palette, and the New Nudes is more akin to the light one. So you do get kind of arranged and they're very different from each other. Definitely could warrant having both and not just having one. I should add on this also, there are more of your traditional mattes and shimmers. There are no glitters in here. And the only exception to the mattes and shimmers is this weird thing, which I will show you what it looks like. And also there are some like marbled things in here. So there's that. So this is what it actually looks like when you swatch it. It's just kind of, it has a kind of gloss to it. It has a little color to it, as you can see, and it's supposed to like transform eye looks. I haven't actually worn it on my eyes because it's more sticky and I don't like sticky feeling. So I feel like it's something I would need to put something else on top of, because even like I feel like the mascara I'm wearing right now is a little sticky and I don't like that feeling. So I didn't actually swatch this one when I swatched them all on my arm because I wanted to kind of experiment and kind of see what it looks like. So I thought we would take like this color right here, this kind of brown right in the middle, and give it a swatch right next to it. So there they are. And then I'm going to swatch again over the top of that, see if it makes a difference. So yeah, it does kind of change the shade. And then I thought I would do put this one down again. So there it is. And then I thought we would put the gel over the top. And yes, I'm wiping it off, but I'm using a different finger each time and kind of see how it changes. So it makes it more pliable, I guess, when you put that over it. I don't see that big of a difference. I think you get a bigger difference when you put a shade over the top of it. Okay, so here is what all of the shades look like. As you can see, there are some absolutely stunning colors in here. Yes, they are all neutrals. There's nothing like super exciting. There is one of those kind of, you know, duochromes where they kind of change colors just a little bit. I think these colors are very beautiful. I love the shimmers in here. I am such a shimmer girl though, so I do really enjoy shimmers. These I found were a little weird. These two on the bottom row, this one and this one, they seem to break apart a little bit. If you can see like the texture in there, it's weird. I don't know how to describe it. I'm not really sure why they're doing that, but they're definitely a different formula than she's had in the past. So I do think this is a really nice palette. You'll have to see where I rank it though. Okay, we're down to the last two palettes, which are the Rose Gold Remastered and the original Rose Gold. How do they compare? That's a big thing that I wondered about, and I'm going to show you them next to each other. So the Rose Gold is the only one that doesn't have an actual mirror in it because it is see-through there, but I thought it was worth seeing them like next to each other to see what the differences are. So as you can see, there are quite a few differences. There are some similarities. Both have Dubai, both have Fling, both have 24 karat, but they're in different spots. Rose Gold, they both have Rose Gold, both have Trust Fund, both have, no, both of them do not have Angelic. Angelic is not in the Remastered, it is in the Desert Dusk. So there is that. Then Blessed is still the same, and then there's two new ones, or one new one, Bubbly instead of Angelic, and then Moon Dust. And they kind of arranged them so that all of the shimmers are kind of together instead of like this configuration, I guess. And then with that, Risque is a new color. It is not in this palette. You have Bossy. Bossy is gone. That's this first matte. Flamingo is kind of the same as Dollface, but they are a little different. So there are differences in the shadows for sure, which was kind of surprising. I wasn't expecting to have different colors. I was definitely expecting them to have reformulated the shimmers, and they definitely did. There's definitely a difference. These you can see have all little indents in them, and that's how they came. And I don't know why, but that's how they came. And then this is what it looks like. So I'm going to swatch the original palette first. All right, so that is what they all look like swatched. You do get kind of a variety of shades and how opaque they are. Some of the mattes need to be built up quite a bit, especially like that Flamingo. There are two distinct shimmer formulas in this palette. So the Angelic, Moonlight, and hashtag Blessed, they're a much softer, more reminiscent of the other shimmers that she's done in like the Desert Dusk palettes. These are like thick and they have like density to them. When you put them on, when you dip your finger into them, you can feel that it's like picking up, that it's going to go on with some force. There's no like little bit shear them out. These are not those type of shimmers whatsoever. So that's a main thing that I noticed with this. I did notice that like the pink and this red, they seem to be getting a little a little rougher, I guess, is the same thing that was happening with the Desert Dusk with some of those shades. I'm finding in some of these too. Now, this is obviously the oldest palette from the bunch because this is the one that has been remastered, but that's what they all look like. I do really like this palette, and I'm glad that I did this because it forced me to actually like get this out and use it, because I haven't used it as much as I really want to, and I definitely need to because this is an absolutely beautiful palette. All right, the final palette is the Rose Gold Remastered. Everybody was like shocked when the Rose Gold was very suddenly retired, and it made sense when this came out later on, but it still was kind of shocking. I know a lot of people have this because this was in the debut of Ipsy Glam Bag X. This was one of the things that was like the promised item, and this and the Pat McGrath mascara, which runs on me like crazy. I had black all over me, and I already had this palette, so I did not get Glam Bag X, and I'm not really regretting it. So, but this is a palette that I think it's so pretty. I love the way that they've laid it out. I just think it's so pretty. I like the colors. It does seem a lot darker looking at it right now than I remembered it, and I think that's because it just seems a little darker than I remembered it. All right, here are the last of the shades, the last palette, I guess is what I should say. So as you can see, there's a lot. This shimmer is super dark. It looks almost as black as that black, but it isn't. If you get it a little closer, you will see that it does have some depth and gold to it. These are all very soft, except for this one. This one had the same issue that I had with the other ones, where it felt a lot, it felt a little rough. I don't know how to explain it other than it didn't feel soft and smooth like the other mattes for the most part. So that's what they all look like. I think it is such a beautiful palette. The shimmers in this are my standouts to me. This one right here, this pink diamond, I think is an amazing addition to it. I'm still missing Angelic. Like, if both of those could be in it, I think it would be amazing. But I also like the lighter shimmers. I wear a lot of lighter shimmers. I don't do a lot of the darker shimmers, just because if I'm putting them on my eyelid, then I look a little goth because they're so dark. But yes, that is the Rose Gold Remastered. I want to say before I get into the ranking that all of these you can get on sale, and I would actually encourage you to wait to get them on sale. I love them, and I think Huda has amazing products, but they do tend to go on sale for pretty good deals on a regular basis. So I would encourage you, like with anything really, if you don't need it, like have an immediate need for it, wait, get it when it's on sale, use coupons, whatever. Just, I feel like they're not worth quite the price tag. I think they're all $65. I think they're $67 now for the plastic containers. So they are pretty expensive, and they're higher end palettes for sure. But I did get, I think, all of these on sale. The one that I paid the most was probably the Rose Gold, the original Rose Gold. And I'm pretty sure I did get it with my 20% off at Sephora. So there's that. These three palettes, so the New Nudes, the Naughty Nudes, and the Mercury Retrograde, I know I got all of these also at Sephora during their sale. So in December, usually they send out a coupon that's based on what your tier is, and it was 20 or 25, depending on the year. They've gone down a little bit, off of your purchase of $75. So I would throw on, you know, like a sheet mask or something small to get it really close to 75, and then I would use my coupon for these. So that's how I got all of these. So I got these all for $20 or $25 off. And I know this one has been on sale recently. I think the new nude probably has been on sale recently. So there is that. I don't remember on the Desert Dusk how I got it, but I know I got it on sale. So I might have used that coupon for that one as well, or I might have just gotten 20% off. I can't remember on that one. I feel like that might be the first one that I got. I think it might be. And this one I got on a Black Friday special, and I got this for really cheap. I think it was at least 50% off because Huda, her website itself, did an amazing deal and had all of the palettes marked down. So I picked up every palette that I didn't own already with that deal because they were all really, really discounted. And I really do encourage you to wait, get them on sale because they will go on sale. And Huda, if you watch Huda's website, she does, I don't know if they're doing quite as many great sales as they used to, but they have done some amazing sales over the years. Like I got birthday bundles of all their lippies and stuff. So keep an eye on their website, you know, sign up for their emails because it's definitely worth it. They do have really good sales. Ranking these has been really, really hard. And I was thinking about them and I had to think about which ones have the best mattes. I think the Mercury Retrograde, if you want mattes, that's the best of them, has the softest, most blendable mattes, and then probably the Naughty Nude. But then I was thinking, okay, overall palettes, shimmers, I mean, there's some beautiful shimmers in these, and the Rose Gold has some amazing shimmers in it. So does Desert Dusk. So it was really hard. So I decided which ones would I reach for most, and that's how I'm going to rank them, and just kind of wearability, I guess. In sixth place is going to be the original Rose Gold palette, just because I feel like the shades in here are really lovely, but I don't feel like this is the most versatile palette. And like I said, the mattes in here are not my favorites. So there's the couple that I really like are a little bit rougher in texture, and there's a lot of darker shades. So for me personally, I don't wear a lot of darker shades on my eyes. Like I feel like even today I was getting a little dark in my crease. So we're experimenting with different palettes because there's going to be a big palette haul next week coming up. So that is in sixth place. In fifth place, I'm going to put the Rose Gold Remastered, just because it's very similar in nature. I had a hard time with this one because look at those shimmers, like this not quadrant, but like 6 shades right there. So beautiful. I really like them. But again, the mattes are not my favorite. So overall, this isn't a palette that I will reach into quite as much as some of the others. This next one is the Mercury Retrograde. This was so hard because I do think this has the best mattes of all of them, but I feel like the shimmers I have to work so much harder with because there's so many of them that feel more like toppers and more sheer than actual like opaque shimmers, and I like the more opaque shimmers. So this one is going to be in fourth place just because the shimmers are not my favorites. In third, I'm going to put the Desert Dusk palette. I really like this one. I've used this one so much over the years. I like that there's some pretty darker colors. There's like those purples, so you can do some really bold, beautiful looks, but you can also do some neutral looks. You can, you know, these 3 shades right here I've used quite a bit. Pop on one of the 2 shimmers. These are like 2 of my favorite shimmers of all time, Angelic and Twilight, and you just got a really simple look, which is why I really like this palette, even if the mattes feel a little rougher than I remembered them. I have had it for a little while too, so that could be it. In second place is going to be the Naughty Nude, which is kind of shocking to me. I wasn't sure where I was going to rank this. I mean, this is a palette that I'm going to reach into every day. I love the shimmers in here. Like, I'm such a shimmer girl. But I also like that a lot of there's some lighter mattes in here so that I can get a more versatile look. For me, like, I need some lighter shades. So for me, this one works better than some of the other ones, which means in first place is going to be the new Nude palette. This is one of my favorite palettes of all time. This is one that I reach for all the time. I do hate that it has those 2 chunky glitters in there, and I don't like the base. Those irritate me, and I almost didn't rate it as high because of those. But I reached into this one so much. They're all more warm tones, which I really like, but like those pinks and the purples, oh, like this shade I really like. I like this one and these two, and then all of the shimmers. They're so pretty. So yes, this one is going to be my number one choice for my Huda palettes. It didn't make the top. It was not in first place in that other video that I recommended because it was up against some really stiff competition. Anyway, let me know if you've used any of these Huda palettes, what your thoughts are, where you would rank them yourselves, which ones that you want to try. Let me know all of those details down below. Also, let me know if you want to see like a series of reviews on her mini palettes. I have all but the newest ones. That's part hint for the haul next week. You're going to see a lot of mini Huda palettes. Just her new 3 I don't have, and I'm not going to be purchasing those for a while because, like I said, they always go on sale, and I'm waiting for the sales now for them. So anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I can't wait to talk to you next time.